What's good? What's good, y'all? Welcome to another week. What's good, y'all? Welcome to another week of trading. We've got equity open in about 3 minutes. Um, I do want price to trade into this hourly fair value gap. Um, at the moment, we've only moved about 100 points for the day. You could definitely target the previous daily high into the previous daily high is the Friday high, which is also equal highs with the previous week or 2 weeks ago. So I'll be anticipating a retracement. So we formed equal highs now, as we can see. So I'll be expecting a retracement into these fair value gaps. I see we have the weekly open here as well. So if we can get a retracement, I'll be looking to this also looks like equal highs. Um sorry, equal lows here. So what I'd actually be doing is I'll be patient. When price trades lower, the moment it flips bullish, I'll enter. But if it keeps dumping, I'll wait for price to trade a bit lower into the new day opening gap to buy price up. So that's the plan right now. We just gotta wait. This might be a too lot today. I only need about $800 as well to pass this challenge. So we traded significantly lower. All these fair value gaps are being traded to already. Alright, markets opened. We're running out the lows first, which is okay, which is what I actually prefer. Okay, it's a very big Judas. Wow. Price has already closed the new day opening gap. Do we want to make a weekly Judas though? Because I do have weekly targets down here. We're about to go hit some discount levels at 45,364. I have a 30-minute midpoint over there. I do like this now. Any type of flip bullish on the 4 hour candle, which is the 4 hour regular trading hour candle. As you can see, this could very much be a retracement. On the weekly time frame, I was a bit skeptical as to what could happen this week because we've been doing little ranges, and knowing US 30, we do over 1,000 points. So I was thinking something like this for the week, where we would Judas to the previous week's low before flipping to go bullish for the rest of the month. So this would be like the monthly Judas swing. Um, but let's see what price does today. As you can see, we're opening bearish now. We want to sweep out these lows first. Just trade right into the let me mark out my previous day's low. So at the moment we have like 100 point Judas swing. So what I want to do now is wait for the close of this candle and get my midpoints. So I'm gonna take this off. It's not necessary anymore. Don't need these. All right. I've got a couple seconds left. Once we get our midpoints, I'll be waiting for a 5-minute close above. I'll run that up. Anything can happen. All right. Okay. Let's see how price reacts at this level. If I'm buying this here, that would be 70 points. I really want price to close above this midpoint before I do anything. Um, done 200 points for the, yeah. Don't want to get caught inside the Judas swing in case price wants to form another low. Maybe. Come on, man. I go put up an audio book or something. It's a bit dry. I don't even trust that price wants to keep dropping though. That's another thing because honestly, I could sell the midpoint. I could sell the midpoint and just see if price closes above, you know. But it's not worth it for me. We have a good week today in terms of the in terms of news, so there's no reason why we got to trade today by force, you know. But let's see what price does. Let me just take this scalp on this phone. That's what I'm saying about this continuation. It's something where you could just put your chips in and just, you know, very small stop loss and see if you can run price all the way down to the previous day low. But am I confident in this? No, because once we take out this low, there's going to be a retracement in price. Okay. Let's see how they play it now. So we closed below the low, which usually indicates to me that they want to go all the way back up here. So let's see. No trade so far.
Language of systems. Why call them System 1 and System 2 rather than the more descriptive automatic system and effortful system? The reason is simple. Automatic system takes longer to say than System 1, and therefore takes more space in your working memory. This matters because anything that occupies your working memory reduces your ability to think. You should treat System 1 and System 2 as nicknames, like Bob and Joe, identifying characters that you will get to know over the course of this book. The fictitious systems make it easier for me to think about judgment and choice, and will make it easier for you to understand what I say. Speaking of System 1 and System 2. He had the impression, but some of his impressions are illusions. This was pure System 1 response. She reacted to the threat before she recognized it. This is However, there are vital tasks that only System 2 can perform because they require effort and acts of self-control in which the intuitions and impulses of System 1 are overcome. Mental effort. If you wish to experience your System 2 working at full tilt, the following exercise will do.
If we do run a Friday low today, it's going to be a DR fund. Alright, I see how the market is going to play out this week, but I just need to trade for myself.
Place a blank card on top of the deck. The task that you will perform is called Add 1.
Running out, closing below the first 5 minutes usually indicates that even if price takes out this high, it needs to close above it before we go bullish for the day. So it's like I can't have a trade for a minute.
Wait for 2 beats, then report a string in which each of the original digits is incremented by 1. If the digits on the card are 5, 2, 9, 4, the correct response is 6, 3, 0, 5. Keeping the rhythm is important. Few people can cope with more than 4 digits in the Add 1 task.
Okay.
But if you want a harder challenge, please try Add 3.
Can we flip from this level
If
here?
you would like to know what your body is doing
There's some
while your mind
confluences
is
here
hard at
from
work, set up 2 piles of books on a sturdy table, place a video camera on one, and lean your chin on the other, get the video going, and stare at the camera lens while you work on Add 1 or Add 3 exercises. Later, you will find in the changing size of your pupils a faithful record of how hard you worked. I have a long personal history with the Add 1 task. Early in my career,
it's like, do they want to make such a tiny
as a visitor in a laboratory
Judas swing for what? I mean, it was at the midnight open, cool, but
I found an article in Scientific American in
it's
which
just
the
weird.
psychologist Eckhart Hess described the pupil of the eye as a window to the soul. I reread it recently and again
Okay,
found it
so now that we've
inspiring.
closed back above here,
It begins with Hess reporting that his wife had noticed his pupils
it usually
as he
indicates that we
watched
want to trace
beautiful
the
nature
midpoint.
pictures, and it
But we've done a
ends
straight
with
crash.
2
Nice.
striking pictures of the same good-looking woman who somehow appears much more attractive in one than in the other. There is only one difference. The pupils of the eyes appear dilated in the attractive picture and constricted in the other.
This is
Hess
interesting.
also wrote of belladonna, a pupil-dilating substance that was
Previous
used
day low
as
before any
cosmetic,
reversal.
and of bizarre shoppers who wear dark glasses in order to hide their level of interest from merchants. One of Hess's findings especially captured my attention. He had noticed that the pupils are sensitive indicators of mental effort. They dilate
375.
substantially when
That's
people
cap.
multiply 2-digit numbers, and they dilate more if the problems are hard than if they are easy. His observations indicated that the response to mental effort is distinct from emotional arousal. Hess's work did not have much to do with hypnosis, but I concluded that the idea of a visible indication of mental effort
Probably go to
promised as a
224 now.
research topic. A graduate student in the lab,
This is my
Jackson
weekly CE.
Beatty, shared my enthusiasm, and we got to work. Beatty and I developed a setup similar to an optician's examination room, in which the experimental participant leaned her head on a chin and forehead rest.
If we close below that weekly CE, then we can go do that Judas I was talking about.
Information and answering questions on the recorded
Yeah.
beats of a metronome. The beats triggered
If we
a
can close below this
flash
CE,
every
this would
second,
have been week CE.
causing a picture to be taken.
Probably trade
At
to the
the end
previous
of
week's
each
low before doing any
experimental
flip.
session,
Because we've got high impact
right
news
to have
later
a film
today.
developed,
Later this week.
project the images of the
That's
pupil
alright.
on a screen, and go to work with a ruler. The method was a perfect fit for young and impatient researchers. We knew our results almost immediately, and they always told a clear story. Beatty Jamie and I focused on paced tasks, such as add 1, in which we knew precisely what was on the subject's mind at any time. We recorded strings of digits on beats of the metronome and instructed the subject to repeat or transform the digits one by one, maintaining the same rhythm. We soon discovered that the size of the pupil varied second by second, reflecting the changing demands of the task. The shape of the response was an inverted V. As you experienced it, if you tried add 1 or add 3, effort builds up with every added digit that you hear, reaches an almost intolerable peak as you rush to produce a transformed string during and immediately after the pause, and relaxes gradually as you unload your short-term memory. The pupil data corresponded precisely to subjective experience. Longer strings reliably caused larger dilations.
Alright.
The transformation task compounded the effort, and the peak of pupil size coincided with maximum effort. Add 1 with 4 digits caused a larger
We're trying to do the
dilation
same thing we
than
did
the
last
task
week.
of holding 7 digits for immediate
Nah, but these
recall.
not new 30-minute combo.
Add 3, which is much more difficult, is the most demanding
Let's see
that I
that.
ever observed. In the first 5 seconds, the pupil dilates by about 50% of its original area, and heart rate increases by about 7 beats per minute. This is as hard as people can work. They give up if more is asked of them. When we exposed our subjects to more digits than they could remember, their pupils stopped dilating or actually shrank. We worked for some months in a spacious basement suite in which we had set up a closed circuit system that projected an image of the subject's pupil on a screen in the corridor. We also could hear what was happening in the laboratory. The diameter of the projected pupil was about a foot. Watching it dilate and contract when the participant was at work was a
We're about to
fascinating
get a
sight,
better range now.
quite an attraction for visitors in our lab. We amused ourselves and impressed our guests by
30
our
minute.
ability to divine when the participant gave up on a task.
No, there you go.
During a mental multiplication, the pupil normally dilated to a large size within a few seconds and stayed large as long as the individual kept working on the problem. It contracted immediately when she found a solution or gave up.
They're not gonna play here.
As we watched from the corridor, we would sometimes surprise both the owner of the pupil and our guests by asking, "Why did you stop working just now?" The answer from inside the lab was often, "How did you know?" To which we would reply, "We have a window to your soul." The casual observations we made from the corridor were sometimes as informative as the formal experiments. I made a significant discovery as I was idly watching a woman's pupil during a break between 2 tasks. She had kept her position on the chin rest, so I could see the image of her eye while she engaged in routine conversation with the experimenter. I was surprised to see that the pupil remained small and did not notice.
Probably gonna go previous daily low now. In 10 o'clock combo.
Unlike the tasks that we were studying, the mundane conversation apparently demanded little or no effort, no more than retaining 2 or 3 digits. This was a eureka moment. I realized that the tasks we had chosen for study were exceptionally effortful. An image came to mind: mental life. Today I would speak of
but
the life of System 2 is normally conducted at the pace of a comfortable walk, sometimes interrupted by episodes of jogging, and on rare occasions by a frantic sprint. The add 1 and add 3 exercises are sprints, and casual chatting is a stroll. We found that people, when engaged in a mental sprint, may become effectively blind. The authors of The Invisible Gorilla had made the gorilla invisible by keeping the observers intensely busy counting passes. We reported a rather less dramatic example of blindness during Ad 1. Our subjects were exposed to a series of rapidly flashing letters while they worked. They were told to give the task complete priority, but they were also asked to report at the end of the digit task whether the letter K had appeared at any time during the trial. The main finding was that the ability to detect and report the target letter changed in the course of the 10 seconds of the exercise. The observers almost never missed a K that was shown at the beginning or near the end of the Ad 1 task, but they missed the target almost half the time when mental effort was at its peak, although we had pictures of their wide-open eye staring straight at it. Failures of detection followed the same inverted V pattern as the dilating pupil. The similarity was reassuring. The pupil was a good measure of the physical arousal that accompanies mental effort, and we could go ahead and use it to understand how the mind works. Much like the electricity meter outside your house or apartment, the pupils offer an index of the current rate at which mental energy is used. The analogy goes deep. Your use of electricity depends on what you choose to do, whether to light a room or toast a piece of bread. When you turn on a bulb or a toaster, it draws the energy it needs, but no more. Similarly, we decide what to do, but we have limited control over the effort of doing it. Suppose you are shown 4 digits, say 9462, and told that your life depends on holding them in memory for 10 seconds. However much you want to live, you cannot exert as much effort in this task as you would be forced to invest to complete an ad-free transformation on the same digits. System 2 and the electrical circuits in your home both have limited capacity, but they respond differently to threatened overload. A breaker trips when the demand for current is excessive, causing all devices on that circuit to lose power at once. In contrast, the response to mental overload is selective and sophisticated. System 2 protects the most important activity so it receives the attention it needs. Spare capacity is allocated second by second to other tasks. In our version of the gorilla experiment, we instructed the participants to assign priority to the digit task. We know that they followed that instruction because the timing of the visual target had no effect on the main task. If the critical letter was presented at a time of high demand, the subjects simply did not see it. When the transformation task was less demanding, detection performance was better. The sophisticated allocation of attention has been honed by a long evolutionary history. Orienting and responding quickly to the gravest threats or most promising opportunities improved the chance of survival, and this capability is certainly not restricted to humans. Even in modern humans, System 1 takes over in emergencies and assigns total priority to self-protective actions. Imagine yourself at the wheel of a car that unexpectedly skids on a large oil slick. You will find that you have responded to the threat before you became fully conscious of it. BT and I worked together for only a year, but our collaboration had a large effect on our subsequent careers. He eventually became the leading authority on cognitive pupillometry, and I wrote a book titled Attention and Effort, which was based in large part on what we learned together and on follow-up research I did at Harvard the following year. We learned a great deal about the working mind, which I now think of as System 2, from measuring pupils in a wide variety of tasks. As you become skilled in a task, its demand for energy diminishes. Studies of the brain have shown that the pattern of activity associated with an action changes as skill increases, with fewer brain regions involved. Talent has similar effects. Highly intelligent individuals need less effort to solve the same problems as indicated by both pupil size and brain activity. A general law of least effort applies to cognitive as well as physical exertion. The law asserts that if there are several ways of achieving the same goal, people will eventually gravitate to the least demanding course of action. In the economy of action, effort is a cost, and the acquisition of skill is driven by the balance of benefits and costs. Laziness is built deep into our nature. The tasks that we studied varied considerably in their effects on the pupil. At baseline, our subjects were awake, aware, and ready to engage in a task, probably at a higher level of arousal and cognitive readiness than usual. Holding 1 or 2 digits in memory, or learning to associate a word with a digit, 3 equals door, produced reliable effects on momentary arousal above that baseline, but the effects were minuscule. Only 5% of the increase in pupil diameter associated with add 3. A task that required discriminating between the pitch of 2 tones yielded significantly larger dilations. Recent research has shown that an increase in the tendency to read distracting words, as in figure 2 of the preceding chapter, also induces moderate effort. Tests of short-term memory for 6 or 7 digits were more effortful. As you can experience, the
Do we accumulate here?
and say aloud your
This is going to be the first 30-minute law now.
birthday also requires a brief but significant effort, because the entire string must be held in memory as a response is organized. Mental multiplication of 2-digit numbers and the add 3 task are near the limit of what most people can do. What makes some cognitive operations more demanding and effortful than others? What outcomes must we purchase in the currency of attention?
Personally, I'd like Price to run out the law first.
Cannot. We now have tentative answers to these questions. Effort is required to maintain simultaneously in memory several ideas that require separate actions, more than according to a rule. Rehearsing your shopping list as you enter the supermarket, choosing between the fish and the veal at a restaurant, or combining a surprising result from a survey with information that the sample was small, for example. System 2 is the only one that can follow rules, compare options,
of course.
several attributes, and make deliberate choices between options. The automatic System 1 does not have these capabilities. System 1 detects simple relations. They are all alike. The son is much taller than the father, and excels at integrating information about one thing, but it does not deal with multiple distinct topics at once, nor
It's a very, very huge SMT right here. Continuation. She's doing all these shallow runs. Nasdaq was really clean. To be nice if Nasdaq comes down first. But I don't see why though. It's looking like it wants to crash off this 5 minute low. But price is heavily discounted right now, so before I'll be able to sell, it's to take a lot to be honest. Cause I'm any bullish sign now, I'm buying up here. Um, Monday does have a high tendency of running out Friday low though. Lines on lines, like a fiend, man. It's got these two levels now. The price is already. Let's see what price does, man. No trade day. Well, this is the fair value gap around the midpoint, but that's by the way. We've got equal highs still. Equal session highs at that. Yes, 30. Come on, man. For real? I didn't smack TP. For real. Nvidia didn't come as low as I want, just a little bit more, and we are good. But let's focus here though. I don't know if I trust trading back into this 5 minute low. Because honestly, I don't mind buying if price closes above it. But the 30 minute low is still there though. Like what? That's weird. If I would have taken this buy, I would have been break even already because I wouldn't be confident in the trade. So I'm just being patient, man. If we would have run out the 30 minute low, then cool, but we didn't. I do want to see price trade back into the 30 minute midpoint. We can always wait for 10:30, hoping that this closes above. Weird traded to the mid. Today is so weird, to be honest. See, buying now for me is not such a bad idea. So if it start going up now, I'm gonna actually buy this.
Order filled.
I'm gonna trade using that 5 minute fair value gap. If we go back closing below this 5 minute low, then I'll probably just close the trade. $391. If you do take a loss here, it's gonna be really small. If they close below it, I'm gone. If we start trading back above, I might add I might add another position. Um, Honestly, if price wants to do a full stretch all the way to the London highs, 578, that would be nice. But all I need is 800 for the day. Pass my challenge.
Evidence is persuasive. Activities that impose high demands on System 2 require self-control, and the exertion of self-control is depleting and unpleasant. Unlike cognitive load, ego depletion is at least in part a loss of motivation. After exerting self-control in one task, you do not feel like making an effort in another, although you could do it if you really had to. In several experiments, people were able to resist the effects of ego depletion when given a strong incentive to do so. In contrast, increasing effort is not an option when you must keep 6 digits in short-term memory while performing a task. Ego depletion is not the same mental state as cognitive busyness. The most surprising discovery made by Baumeister's group shows, as he puts it, that the idea of mental energy
I'm thinking
is
about adding
more
to this
than a
position,
metaphor.
but
The nervous system consumes more glucose than most other parts of the body. Effortful mental activity appears to be especially expensive in the currency of glucose.
all I need is
When you are actively
895.
involved in difficult cognitive reasoning or engaged in a task that requires self-control,
Order
your
filled.
blood glucose level drops. The effect is analogous to a runner who draws down glucose stored in her muscles during a sprint. The bold implication of this idea is that the effects of ego depletion could be undone
485.
by ingesting glucose, and Baumeister and his colleagues have confirmed this hypothesis in several experiments. Volunteers in one of their studies watched a short silent film of a woman being interviewed and were asked to interpret her body language. While they were performing the task, a series of words crossed in slow succession. The participants were specifically instructed to ignore the words, and if they found their attention drawn away, they had to refocus their concentration on the woman's behavior. This act of self-control was known to cause ego depletion. All the volunteers drank some lemonade before participating in a second task. The lemonade was sweetened with glucose for half of them and with Splenda for the others. Then all participants were given a task in which they needed to overcome an intuitive response to get the correct answer. Intuitive errors are normally much more frequent among ego-depleted people, and the drinkers of Splenda showed the expected depletion effect. On the other hand, the glucose drinkers were not depleted.
Okay.
Restoring the level
Probably
of
gonna go
maple
break
sugar
even
in the
now.
brain had prevented the deterioration of performance.
Yeah, definitely
It will take
break
some
even.
time and much further research to establish
I
whether
want to
the
see
tasks
what
that
price
cause
does at the
glucose
midpoint
depletion
of this
also cause
30
involuntary
minutes.
arousal that is reflected in increases of pupil size and heart rate.
Come on, man.
A disturbing demonstration of depletion effects in judgment was recently reported in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. The unwitting participants in the
Come on.
study were 8 parole judges female. They spend entire days reviewing applications for parole. The cases are presented in random order, and the judges spend little time on each one, an average of 6 minutes. The default decision is denial of parole. Only 35% of requests are approved. The exact time
Damn.
of each decision is recorded, and the times of the judge's 3 food breaks,
Wow.
morning break, lunch, and afternoon break, during the day are recorded as well.
Yeah, steady and fucking with me like
The
that.
authors of the study
Come
calculated
on.
the proportion of approved
Please.
requests
Survive,
in
survive,
the
survive.
time since the last food break. The proportion spiked
Survive, man. Come on. Push, push,
with
push.
about 65% of requests
Go back
are
up, go
granted.
back up, go back up. There's a
It
1
takes
minute fair
2
value gap.
hours or so until the judge's next
It needs to just use it.
The approval rate drops steadily to about 0 just before the meal. As you might expect, this is an unwelcome result, and the authors carefully checked many alternative explanations. plausible account of the data provides bad news. Tired and hungry judges tend to fall back on the easier default position of denying requests for parole. Both fatigue and hunger probably.
Order filled.
Damn. That's peak.
System 2. One of the main functions of System 2 is to monitor and control thoughts and actions
Let's see what happens though.
by System 1, allowing some to be expressed directly in behavior and suppressing or modifying others. For an example, here is a simple puzzle. Do not try to solve it, but listen to your intuition. A bat and ball cost $1.10. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? A number came to your mind. The number, of course, is 10 cents. The distinctive mark of this easy puzzle is that it evokes an answer.
There's the 1 minute IFVG that I think Price still wants
Order
to use.
filled. Order filled.
Math and you will see. If the ball costs 10 cents, then the total cost would be $1.20. 10 cents for the ball and $1.10 for the bat. Not $1.10. The correct answer is 5 cents. It is safe to assume that the intuitive answer also came to the mind of those who ended up with the correct number. They somehow managed to resist the intuition. Shane Frederick and I worked together on a theory of judgment based on two systems, and he used the bat and ball puzzle to study a central question. How closely does System 2 monitor the suggestions?
I would like Price to use this down candle as a.
His reasoning was that we know a significant fact about anyone who says that the ball costs 10 cents. That person did not actively check whether the answer was correct, and her System 2 endorsed an intuitive answer that it could have rejected with a small investment of effort.
Man, Price didn't need to just go shallow like that.
The people who give the intuitive
That's just peak.
have missed an obvious social cue. They should have wondered why anyone would include in a questionnaire a puzzle with such an obvious answer. A failure to check is remarkable because the cost of checking is so low. A few seconds of mental work, the problem is moderately difficult, with slightly tensed
The
muscles
top step is
and
the
dilated
prop
pupils
firm.
avoid an
Well, no.
embarrassing mistake. People who say 10 cents appear to be ardent followers of the law of least effort. People who avoid that answer appear to have more active minds. Many thousands of university students have answered the bat and ball puzzle, and the results are shocking.
I'm gonna go break even again. Don't do me nonsense.
Harvard, MIT, and Princeton gave the intuitive.
Alright, just keep going now, please.
At less selective universities, the rate of demonstrated
Alright,
failure
so
to
come on.
check was in excess.
At this point now, I'm not gonna let Price go against me all the way.
The ball problem is our first encounter with an observation.
It needs to close bullish and just keep pushing.
Many people are overconfident, prone to place too much faith in their intuitions. They apparently find cognitive effort at least mildly unpleasant and avoid it as much as possible. Now,
52-410.
two premises and a conclusion.
Oh yeah, right now.
Determine as quickly as you can if the argument is logically valid. Does the conclusion follow from the premises? All roses are flowers. Some flowers fade quickly. Therefore, some roses fade quickly. A large majority of college students endorse this syllogism as valid. In fact, the argument is flawed because it is possible that there are no roses among the flowers that fade quickly. Just as in the bat and ball problem, a plausible answer comes to mind immediately. Overriding it requires hard work. The insistent idea that
How much do I actually need to pass this challenge? Hold on.
makes it difficult to check the logic, and most people do not take the trouble
Alright, so we need $400 more. But I'm going to close it if price just goes off in this place here. I need price to close above this. Hmm. You need to go. You need to go. You need to go. We have another BPR now. 415. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay. You stay right there. So we need about $300 more. No, I need 500 more, sorry. Is this the trade that gives us our challenge? Do we pass the challenge on this trade? Come on, US 30. Come on, 30. We need 500 more. That's 900 right there. That's what I need right now. Come on. Push, 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 push. It should get to the midpoint of the 5 minutes. Oof. Come on, come on. If it does take us out, we're gonna just um I'm gonna just take that for the day, honestly. But come on. I think this price can trade all the way back into this BPR here. There's a 1 minute fair value gap there too. I don't really care though. I'll take 200 for the day. Why not close above? Good.
Order filled.
Okay. At this point, it's looking like it's tomorrow we're gonna pass the challenge. Alright. That's enough for today, Jerry. Obviously, price is not really moving well anyways. This isn't what I would like to participate in. I don't know. We have a 1 minute fair value gap right there. I don't know if we want to risk what we have right now. Something like that. Um, Imagine if they don't even trade all the way down there. That would be peak, you know. Wow. They ended up closing bullish still. Done with this, man. See y'all tomorrow.